Hi, I'm Alois Rosero from PingSkills. Today we're going to talk about the grip. There are two main ways of holding the table tennis bat. The first one is the shake hand grip. So as the name suggests, it's like you're shaking hands with the bat. So there's the bat, you're shaking hands with it, you have your pointer finger across the bottom of one side of the racket, and you have your thumb across the bottom of the other side. So a lot of people ask, why can't you just hold it like you'd do a tennis racket? Well, the main thing is that the pointer finger up on the racket there gives you a much better control over the racket head. The second thing is that it also helps you to know what angle your racket is at. So if your racket turns in your hand a little bit, you've got a good idea of where that is with your pointer finger there. If you don't have your pointer finger there, your racket can turn in your hand and it's much harder for you to tell what angle the racket's on. So make sure that you have your pointer finger across the bottom of the bat. The other important thing with the shake hand grip is to make sure that you don't strangle the bat. If you've got your bat too tight in your hand, firstly, you're going to lose feeling in your wrist, and also it's much harder to generate spin. So have your bat really loosely in your hand. As a test, you should be able to just take the bat out of your hand as easily as that. The second common way of holding the table tennis bat is the pen hold grip. So with the pen hold grip, you have your handle facing upwards and you encircle your thumb and pointer finger around the handle like you would holding a pen. On the back of your bat, you can have your fingers in two different ways. Either curled up like that, or you can have them flat across the bat. That's just a preference. If your fingers are curled up, your wrist can be used a little bit more easily. If you've got your fingers spread across the back, then you get a little bit better control over the racket head. So just experiment for yourself, see which one feels more comfortable for you. Why would you choose either the shake hand or the pen hold grip? There's a couple of advantages and disadvantages of each. Firstly, with the shake hand grip, the advantage is that you can use both sides equally as well with the forehand and the backhand. The disadvantage is that you create a crossover point where you're changing between the forehand side of your racket and the backhand side of your racket. So you need to weigh those two things up. With the pen hold grip, the advantage is that you can use your wrist a lot more because you're using your wrist in that range as opposed to the shake hand grip where you're using it in that range. So you're using your wrist much more easily with the pen hold grip. The other advantage of the pen hold grip is that you don't have that crossover point because you're using the same side of your racket to start off with on both sides, the backhand and the forehand. So you don't have the crossover that you had with the shake hand grip. The real disadvantage of the pen hold grip though is the backhand side. It's much harder to hit the ball or attack the ball with the backhand side. Now the backhand is starting to be used as a reverse pen hold backhand, which is much more effective, but it's still quite a difficult stroke with the pen hold grip. So now that you've seen these two grips, you decide which grip is best for you. You might want to experiment with both the shake hand and the pen hold grip. Play with them both, see which suits you, see which feels more comfortable for you. That's the main criteria.